Hey everybody, it's Mo Bunnell, your host here at Real Relationships, Real Revenue. This is the middle of 5 episodes with Bill Ruprecht. Bill was the former CEO of Sotheby's, the worldwide art auctioneer. One of the people of my whole career. We've trained over 20,000 experts all over the world in all kinds of different disciplines. Bill's one of the people that pops to the top of my list as one of the most successful business developers and one of the best long-term relationship builders that I've ever met. His ability to connect with people, to tell stories, to act with their best interest in mind is just second to none. And it's super interesting to dig into his insights and how he thinks about these kind of things so that we can all get better. So this is a heck of a gift that we're giving you. And I just couldn't be more thankful to Bill for being on the show. So know this too, that if you've got high-end art that you would like some advice on, Bill does do some of that now. So we'll put his email down in the show notes that you can click on and reach out to him if you're interested. So one last thing before we get started, know that if you want our best thinking and how you can deepen relationships with little time. Now it takes a lot of these. There's no magic wand. But if you are interested in learning some ways to develop relationships that don't take much time at all, then just head over to growbigplaybook.com. We've got a thought piece, a white paper that you can download. It even has scripts that you can put in place right away that are going to help you deepen the relationships that you want to have. That's at growbigplaybook.com. All right, here is one of my favorites of all time, Bill Ruprecht. Hey everybody, it's Mo Bunnell, your host here at Real Relationships, Real Revenue. Absolutely loved the prior 2 episodes with Bill Ruprecht, and we're digging in deeper today. So Bill, on this episode, when you think about the training, when you think about Snowball System, what's your favorite science step or story?
Well, we got going at this and invested a lot of time, as did you and your firm, Mo, because I was convinced that a more disciplined approach and a more methodical approach to building relationships was critical to the future of our organization. The organization I was working for at that point was pretty spread out. I think we had 90 offices in 40 countries, and getting anything to be consistent across 90 offices in 40 countries is an enormous task, with all the different cultures and all the different mindsets of different people who either are very committed to instinctive, on the spot work, or others who are very methodical and rigorous and maybe even Germanic in mindset. So I remember being in a room with a bunch of the senior business getters at Sotheby's with you, and they had started to do some role playing. And you saw people with 30 years experience selling the services and the skills and the resources of a place like Sotheby's. And you found some of them gleeful, delighted, unbelievably thrilled to be in a position to basically share their toolkit with their colleagues, and act like a client, act like a advocate in a variety of ways. And you found others who were absolutely at a loss, in spite of the fact that they had been purportedly doing this for 20, 30, 40 years and were extremely august in their opinion of both themselves and their skills. But they just weren't comfortable turning it on in that kind of context. And it was very interesting to watch some people really stumble and be sobered by the process, look to dismiss it, and others who really would embrace it. But what I found over time is that the number of people who, whether they started from a position of strength or started from a position of being sort of threatened by exposing themselves to colleagues in that kind of context, there was almost a universal acknowledgement over a period of time that, damn, this is useful. I'm really picking up new tools in this process. When I figured out when a client says this, what that probably means is this. And as a result, I'm in a position to reinforce our value by saying this. So I'm not getting into the specifics of an individual moment, but what I remember so clearly is number one, at that company, like many, many companies that you encounter, everybody thinks their business is unique. Everybody thinks their business is absolutely different from anybody else's. And they're not going to learn anything from this kind of a system because you really couldn't begin to understand the complexity and the nature of how we sell and, how we build relationships. And then pretty quickly you figure out, oh, other people have the same issues, huh? Oh, huh. You mean they put up those kind of barriers too? Oh, well, wait a minute. You mean they try to go just to price too? Oh, and you find the same speed bumps in the process almost irrespective of the industry or the business.
Bill, that is so good. I really think that's the best answer to that question that we've had in this entire season. And I'll say why. And I want to get your view on this, is that so many people think that business development, sales, if we wanted to call it that in the good version of the word, they think it's not a learnable skill, or they think you're either born with it or you're not. And it just couldn't be farther from the truth. In your old business, just like somebody who's a student of contemporary art or impressionist or old masters, watches, wine, whatever, they're studying that their whole career for a big part of it. They're always getting a little bit better. And this people stuff, this business, this long-term relationship stuff, it's learnable too. So give me your thoughts on that, just real directly, like this idea that treating people the right way, being proactive, always moving relationships a little bit forward, being a learnable skill. Give me your 2 cents.
Well, there's a huge host of research on these issues, like a Myers-Briggs test or the likes, that puts some people over in a corner of being introverts who really don't have a sense of the people around them. And then there's others who are sort of natural extroverts and have a great commonality with all sorts of characters. And all I can do is tell you about myself is that I was born and started out absolutely as a pretty significant introvert. And I'm what's called a learned extrovert, because I learned over a period of time that whether or not I was really comfortable initially with giving a speech or walking into a room where I didn't know everybody, or having to take on a variety of challenges in front of a whole lot of people, you can learn to do that stuff. You can figure this stuff out by practice and by watching yourself do it on a videotape, getting some feedback from a speaking coach, and finding all sorts of support tools. I'm not going to begin to say that everybody is a natural grip and grin sales type, and I don't think it's necessary to be really successful in being an advocate. I think being a salesman is something or other to be really proud of, because all that means is that you're being an advocate for whatever you're walking in the room to try to do. And there is absolutely no reason to be embarrassed or self-critical over the idea that you sell things for a living.
Bill, that I'm grinning from ear to ear, because like when we prepped, I wasn't sure where that was going to go. You just said, hey, let's just get into it. And it was just so good. Everybody pay attention to what Bill just said. All being in sales or being a business developer, being an expert that's talking to clients, courting them, becoming them, hopefully enamored in the kind of work that you do. all you're doing is being an advocate. And I just think that was so good. Bill, thanks for being on the show. Everybody follow, subscribe, whatever you do on your platform, because we got 2 more of these interviews coming up, and I guarantee they're going to be every bit as meaty and meaningful as this one. Bill, thank you.